Florida prepares to execute morbidly. Obese inmate amid health controversy. Imagine a system so entrenched, so unwavering, that it proceeds even when faced with the stark reality of human suffering. This Tuesday, Florida is scheduled to execute Michael Anthony Tanzi, a man whose case forces us to confront the brutal realities of the death penalty. Is this justice or a descent into barbarity? Give a like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Michael Anthony Tanzi is scheduled to be executed this Tuesday. He was convicted of the horrific 2000 kidnapping, sexual assault, and murder of Janet Acosta. The execution is set to take place by lethal injection at the state prison in Raiford, Florida. But this case is far from simple, shrouded in controversy due to Tanzi's morbid obesity and significant health issues. Tanzi's health raises profound ethical questions. Weighing in at 375 pounds, 173 kilograms, he also suffers from chronic sciatica and a host of other health problems. These conditions have sparked serious concerns about whether the lethal injection will constitute cruel and unusual punishment, a violation of his constitutional rights. Are we, as a society, willing to inflict potentially agonizing pain in the name of justice? Tanzi's attorneys fought tirelessly, arguing that the lethal injection, given his condition, could violate his constitutional rights. However, the Florida Supreme Court rejected these appeals, dismissing them as untimely and without merit. The court argued that his medical conditions were known since 2009. They also stated that there was insufficient evidence to suggest substantial unnecessary suffering. This decision highlights a critical flaw in our legal system. How can we claim to uphold justice when we ignore the very real possibility of inflicting undue pain and suffering? Is the pursuit of retribution blinding us to our own humanity? Florida employs etomidate, a short-acting intravenous anesthetic, as part of its execution protocol. The state Supreme Court has repeatedly upheld this method, despite concerns about its efficacy and potential for causing pain. Similar arguments regarding obesity and its impact on lethal injection have been rejected in previous cases. This unwavering adherence to protocol raises serious questions. Are we prioritizing efficiency over ensuring a humane and painless death? Is the system designed to expedite executions, even at the risk of inflicting unnecessary suffering? The details of Janet Acosta's abduction and murder are undeniably horrific. On April 25, 2000, Tanzi approached Acosta, who was resting in her SUV on Watson Island, asking for a cigarette. He then threatened her with a knife, forcing her to accompany him. He drove her to the Florida Keys, a journey that would end in unimaginable terror. In the Florida Keys, he subjected Acosta to brutal sexual assaults before strangling her in Cudjoe Key. He then abandoned her body among the mangroves, leaving her to be discovered. 2 days later, he was arrested in Key West. He confessed, claiming he acted out of fear of capture. Janet Acosta was a makeup supervisor for the Miami Herald. She was known for resting in her SUV on Watson Island. Her death sent shockwaves through the community. Her sister, Julie Andrew, plans to witness Tanzi's execution, a testament to the enduring pain and loss caused by his actions. While we acknowledge the profound suffering of Janet Acosta and her family, we must also ask ourselves, does perpetuating violence through the death penalty truly honor her memory? Or does it simply perpetuate a cycle of pain and retribution? Tanzi's life was marked by profound trauma. He endured childhood physical and sexual abuse. Orphaned at the age of 8, he spent years in shelters. He was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, substance abuse disorder, a sexual disorder, and antisocial personality disorder. In 2003, a jury unanimously recommended the death penalty. Tanzi pleaded guilty to first-degree murder, carjacking, and other charges. While his actions are inexcusable, can we ignore the impact of his traumatic past on his life and choices? In a strange twist, Tanzi expressed that prison had saved his life. He claimed to have found purpose through religion. He also took full responsibility for his actions. While this does not excuse his crime, it does offer a glimpse into a complex and troubled individual. Does the possibility of redemption, even in the face of death, hold any weight in our pursuit of justice? Or are we so focused on retribution that we are blind to the potential for change and growth, however limited? Tanzi's case reignites the ever-present debate over the death penalty in the United States. Florida has a particularly high number of executions. Ironically, Florida has also led the nation in exonerations of death row inmates since 1973. This stark contrast highlights the inherent flaws in the system. How many innocent lives have been, or will be, lost in the pursuit of a flawed and irreversible punishment? Many individuals on death row were sentenced during periods of heightened public support for capital punishment. Mental illness and childhood trauma are often not considered with the same depth as they should be. The geographic arbitrariness of the death penalty is also a major concern. 5 states account for 83% of executions between 2015 and 2020. This geographic disparity underscores the arbitrary nature of the death penalty. Your fate is often determined not by the severity of your crime, but by the location where it was committed. Is this truly a just and equitable system? The Florida Conference of Catholic Bishops requested that Governor DeSantis commute Tanzi's sentence to life in prison. They argued for justice without retaliation. They also highlighted the impact of abuse and neglect on Tanzi's life. They hope to inspire a spirit of mercy. This plea for mercy challenges us to consider the role of compassion in our justice system. Can we find a way to hold individuals accountable for their actions while also acknowledging the complexities of their lives and the potential for redemption? Governor DeSantis signed the execution order last month. He has not responded to requests for comment on the case. His silence speaks volumes. This lack of engagement underscores the political nature of the death penalty. Often, decisions are driven by political expediency rather than a genuine commitment to justice and fairness. Tanzi's execution is one of several scheduled in the coming weeks. Michael Mahdi is set to be executed in South Carolina. Other executions are scheduled in Texas, Alabama, Tennessee, and Louisiana. This wave of executions serves as a grim reminder of the ongoing use of the death penalty in the United States. It compels us to ask, are we truly a just and compassionate society, or are we simply perpetuating a cycle of violence and retribution? Activists and organizations are increasingly questioning the effectiveness and ethics of the death penalty. This is especially true in cases involving trauma and mental illness. Tanzi's execution is scheduled for this Tuesday. It is a moment that demands reflection and action. We must demand an end to this barbaric practice. Contact your elected officials and urge them to support legislation abolishing the death penalty. Educate yourself and others about the injustices of the system. Support organizations working to end capital punishment. Let us strive for a justice system that is truly just, compassionate, and focused on rehabilitation rather than retribution. The time for change is now.